So hello, everybody. I hope you are all having a great day, a nice Sunday. Hopefully you can see me because I know last time we had a little bit of issues with seeing me, but I'm going to go on here really quick and see if I am visible. Yes, I'm visible. I can see myself. All right, cool. So anyway, it is the Demetra Kaye Show. Of course, if it's Sunday, it is the Demetra Kaye Show. As you can see, I am here, and I'm here by myself because Donovan is traveling back from the Dominican Republic to Los Angeles. And so he just took off from Panama actually about 2 hours ago. So obviously he won't make it to the show, but he'll be back the next time. So anyway, I'd like to say a big giant thank you to Marcus Guy for everything he does behind the scenes on making the show go farther on Facebook, and also to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants as well. This is probably one of the only shows that we read each and every comment because we feel like you should be included as well instead of just kind of watching, right? So anyway, on the Demetra Kaye Show, we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community that make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even. And so today we're going to have a discussion, I guess, about relationship, and then anything else you guys may want to have a discussion about. But anyway, Monique is kind of sort of in the news again. You know, when we hear about our dear sister Monique, unfortunately, it's to draw negativity out of it. But I'm going to let you all be the judge of that. I'm going to tell you what it's about in just a minute, but I want to get to you guys' comments really quick on the greeting side before I get to what I have to say. So who do we have here? Tori, how you doing? Says, I have always liked her, and I like her a great deal more since she's put Oprah on blast. Yes, and that's kind of one of the things that put her in the media, you know, like back in the media, really on a negative aspect, depending on how you look at it, right? But I like Monique too. I'm a fan. And Anais, how you doing? Says Shalom family. And Monique says, hello, Demetra and Donovan, much Detroit love. What's up, the pioneer? And you also say, I love the cover with Monique. She's always kept it real. I'm not necessarily feeling the gray because I love the warm brown, but I'm tired of them speaking on this woman like she can't tell the truth. Me too. And Robin, how you doing? It says Black first. Good evening, Demetra and Donovan. Of course, Donovan is still traveling back home. Pioneer, what's going on with you? Says, good afternoon, beautiful queen and family. And then he says, Demetra, I love you. I love you too. And Nicole, how you doing? And let's see here. Pioneer says, I'm interested in what Monique means by let your guard down. Well, I'm going to tell you in just a second. Hello, Tracy. How you doing tonight? What's going on, Todd? He says, you are glowing, Demetra. Love your energy. Oh, thank you so much for that. You know, I have a lot to glow about. You know, it just depends on how you see life. I've started to take more control of my life. I've gotten my health back in order. I'm exercising every day, sometimes twice a day. And so I feel good. I feel better mentally and physically. So that's probably where a little bit of my energy is coming from. And Anais says, let's talk about that new Cuomo case eventually. Oh, Lord. We could talk about it today. I mean, I only know what, you know, they've said kind of happened. And that's Chris Cuomo, the brother, right? That's on CNN. And something like, how you doing? Eric, what's going on? He says, hello, family, and D. Got a book for you. Okay, Race Against Time by Keith Boykin. Okay, I like that. What is it about? If you know, because is it like race with the play on words, or like what's going on? Olivia, how you doing? Says, I am here. My lima beans, rice, and garlic teriyaki chicken is nearly done. I am just glad that I made it live. Ooh, that sounds good. Save me a plate. The Pioneer says, hey, I love you too, Queen. It says, laugh out loud, Anais. Ain't that the only one? Ain't the only one. Okay, well, I love you too. And Tori, how you doing? Says, hello, Demetra. You look good. You're getting more beautiful every time you come on and share the news. Says, I appreciate that. Y'all making me feel really good. LaMarcus, how you doing? Says, Demetra, I hope you're staying safe. If you need anything, holla on Tuesday when I get paid. Okay, I'll let you know. And Terry, how you doing? Says, beautiful spirit, you are glowing. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of the love. You all are awesome. Asada and Natia, how you doing? All right, and so you guys are on Facebook. You're on in the rooms or whatever, watching the feed. Click on the link, and I would love to read your comment. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. So Monique, I guess, was having a conversation with Tamar Braxton on. I guess Tamar Braxton has a podcast or something like that, and they were just talking about relationships. And you guys know Monique is very open about her relationship. In fact, she's in an open relationship with her husband Sydney. They've been married for about 10 years, but they've been together. I guess, they've known each other since they were 14. So they've known each other for a very long time. And Monique always, how you doing, Chief Indian? Monique always credits her husband, Sydney, to, I guess, turning her into the woman she is today, helping her grow up and, you know, just be able to rest in her femininity, if you will, for lack of better words. And so they also have a podcast where they talk about different things. And, you know, Monique refers to her husband as daddy, and a lot of women, you know, they have a problem with that, if you will, and some men too. But she's like, I call him daddy because he raised me. He helped raise me. She said he taught me things that I didn't learn from my own father, right? And she says up until the time she got in a relationship with him, she said that she was the one with the biggest, you guys can fill in the blank, in the relationship, right? Instead of the man having it, she said she had it because she felt like having money, you know, equaled her, or having more money than her partner made her, you know, I guess the alpha in a relationship, you know, the one with the most say so. And so she would run over her men verbally in every which way. And so when she got with him, he taught her and told her, hey, you don't need to do that with me. I'm going to be the man you need me to be so you can be soft and, you know, womanly and all of that. And so she gives him a lot of credit for that. All right. So on this podcast, she, you know, they were just, her and Tamar were having just a conversation or whatever about relationships. And then she said the following: when I say to Black women, y'all, please, if you have a good one, let your guard down and let it happen. You're going to hear some things that's going to shock you. Because when you got a king, he's got to prepare you to be the queen. So many of us ain't got the queen training. And y'all notice how I underline training, because a lot of women, you know, were mad at that word, right? And so she also says, so when we get the king, we don't know what to do with it. All right. So hopefully y'all have, you know, looked at that long enough, and I'll leave it up there for a little bit. But anyway, I want to have a conversation with you all, and we can maybe dissect this and see if, well, you know, well, it's Monique's opinion. So I don't know if she could be wrong about her opinion, but, you know, what are your thoughts on that? And do you have a problem with the word training? Now, I actually first saw this on Mike Epps' page. He posted the article for whatever reason. And I would say there's maybe one or two other women besides myself that didn't have a problem with what she said. Most women took exception to the word training. Or what is she, a dog? And how he gonna train her? And that's, you know, that doesn't sound right. And just everything you can think of. Like, they were super, super mad at the word training. And, you know, basically told her she needs to shut up. She's always talking, and her husband is always ruining things from her. Now, this came from mostly women, and it was some men in there who, you know, agreed. But the word training really was a trigger word for a lot of women. And so now when I see the word training in the context that she put it in, I didn't see it as to he had to teach her how to bow and heel and bark and roll over, chase a bone or nothing like that. I took her at her word when she says that, you know, the king has got to prepare you to be the queen, especially if you're not used to, you know, walking in your queendom, if you will, right? It's hard to walk in your queendom if you're not with the king, and I would guess vice versa, right? So anyway, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to get to you guys' comments and see what you all say about it. All right, so here we go. Let me get back to it. And so I thank you, Chief Indian, for the compliment on my hair. And Thunder, how you doing? At Asada? You okay? So you're tagging somebody. And Lamarcus, she says, send a prayer up for my son and his mother. They have COVID. She developed flu and it says her herb. Okay, well, most definitely we're going to send a prayer for her and your son. Hopefully they're not, you know, too bad off. Is it really bad? Because I know some people could get the COVID and be okay. So how are they doing? And, you know, are they taking like warm teas and stuff? Because I believe I had it before, like when it first came out, before we knew it was a thing and it was like a pandemic. And I just drank a lot of hot teas and, you know, just kept that in me and just kept it going so that it wouldn't develop in my chest. So hopefully that's what they're doing, but I believe they'll be okay. And Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? It said, peace and love, fam. I think Monique means when you see a decent brother and he says morning, it's okay to say hi and give him a smile. Let your guard down. Yes, she could be meaning that too. And yes, a lot of sisters have been accused of having our guard up to the point to where if a man tries to say hello to us, we just, oh, he must be trying to get with me instead of just hello, you know, saying hello back. And Pioneer says, I agree somewhat with what she's saying. Problem is, how do a woman know when she's got a bona fide king? Well, I mean, I don't think there's a cookie cutter way to be a king. I mean, I guess there's the, the basics: provide, protect, profess, all that kind of stuff as far as men. Men are supposed to be in a relationship with a woman, but for every woman, I would guess it was different. It's different. Like for me, I just want a man to be respectful toward me. I want him to be honest, loyal, probably the same thing. And things along those lines. Just to me, the basics, but a lot of times that's kind of hard for some men for some reason. But anyway, Monet, how you doing? And Eric, you say politics of darkening America. He laid about how politics of the same old playbook. Oh, they're using. So you're talking about the book you're telling me about. Okay, so remind me, because I like to check that out. Y'all know I like a good book. And tonight it says, hey, Demetra, have you been watching the videos landlords have been posting with tenants destroying their properties after over a year paying no rent? And this is how you pay the landlord. No, I have not seen those videos, but that is pretty jacked up. If you stayed in those people's properties for over a year rent-free and you're mad now that you have to leave, I mean, eventually those people want their properties back. Like, what do you do, right? It's not the landlord's fault of the pandemic. And I guess I get it, people who didn't have enough money to pay the rent, but damn, you ain't got to tear people's property up. I mean, that's just beyond evil, and you get what you have coming to you for doing something like that. Eli, how you doing? And Frank, what's going on with you? The Pioneer says, I'm going to keep it real. The vast majority of women will automatically submit themselves to men who are stronger and smarter than them, but they have to be both. So you think a man has to be smarter and stronger? Like, what do you mean as far as the stronger part and the smarter part? Because, there's a lot of men who are with women who are very smart. Like myself, I'm really smart, right? And I'm not saying I won't, get with a man who's smarter than me. But, I mean, so I guess I need you to define it a little bit more. What does that mean, right? Surely you don't mean the woman has to be, oh, I just don't know what I'm going to do. Is that what you mean? And Olivia says, I don't like that, although I love Monique. It's just another man, quote unquote, taking advantage of a woman that still has low self-esteem. Sorry, but not sorry. So you're saying that in her case with her husband, Sydney, or just in general? So what do you mean by that? Because I don't want to guess. And Jafia, how you doing? He says, I can understand her feeling okay with calling him daddy if that's the first daddy, quote unquote, in her life. Thank God my father was always present in our lives. Yeah, so that's kind of how she explained it, that she calls him daddy because he raised her where, it sounds like she has a tumultuous relationship with her biological father. I guess he was kind of in on the whatever happened with Oprah and her family. I guess Oprah had her family come on. And she asked Oprah not to, and they divulged some things about her. And, she was pretty upset from that point. So doesn't sound like she has a great relationship with her father. And let's see here. Lamarcus says, send a prayer for my son and his mother. She has fluid in her legs and feet and blood clots on her lungs. And both says, oh, okay, they got the jab. And please send a prayer, y'all. Wow. So they got the poke and they got it that bad. My God. Okay, well, definitely we are going to hold them in our prayers. That is awful. Awful, awful, awful. And let's see here. And Eric says, I agree with her. So you agree with Monique. Said, most men agree with her, but a lot, I'm telling you, on the thread I was on, it was brutal. It was brutal and vicious. I mean, thank God Monique wasn't there in person because it might it might have tried to tear her apart, but they were upset. And let's see, Chief Indian, you say, I knew my comments were going to jump up. Let me see. I was trying to avoid that. My comments, if y'all ever see it on this end, you see it. Okay, so you say, they just ain't like the choice of words, but I can see what they're saying. Yeah, training, but it's like, when are we going to get to the point to where we can critically think? Does anybody really mean that he has her in a closet somewhere and he has her tied up and he said you can't come out until you roll over and go fetch the bone? I mean, do we really think that's what she means? Or do we really think she means like teaching her how to be a queen? Because sometimes, and we'll use this example because people have used this example a lot with Sierra and Russell and Future, right? So when Sierra was with Future, she was doing what Future was doing, right? You know, smoking weed and kind of doing the hood thing type of relationship and just, you know, talking nonsense when she was with Future, right? I mean, can we agree on that? And then when she got with Russell, her whole demeanor just changed. She looked like a queen. She spoke and behaved like a queen, except for when she went to the fashion show, Versace or whatever it was, and got the twerking. But we'll give her a pass for that. But her whole demeanor just was different, right? So I kind of think that's where Monique was going with that. I could be wrong, though. And Olivia says, you don't have relations with your father. So I think all of our Black women should stop calling our men that. Yeah, I mean, that's not something I would do, call my man daddy. I do have a daddy, my biological father, who I do call daddy. So for me, I think it would probably get a little weird behind closed doors, if you will. But, you know, some women don't have a problem with calling their man daddy, and some men don't have a problem with it either. So I don't know. Guess really it's to each his own, right? Jafia, you say, personally, I see Monique as a woman who needed someone to train her, as she didn't have a great relationship with the men in her family. Supposedly her brother, did something to her. So that's kind of, I guess, what they were talking about on Oprah. And Monique didn't want to have that conversation. Oprah went on and had that conversation anyway. And then I guess Monique came out and said that her brother did some, you know, unsavory things to her. And so you're right. Sounds like, you know, most of the relationships she had with men, especially in her immediate family, was skewed. And so it sounds like until her husband came along, you know, she thought she was a man, maybe. I don't know. And Frankie said, that's their business, what they call each other. Yeah, I agree. It really is to each his own. I don't think we should get mad at, you know, what people want to refer to each other as in their own relationship, right? Like, I don't get that bothered about it. LaMarcus says she's in the hospital with oxygen of 36. Now, what does it mean? 36 is that where's 36 in relation to, I guess, what's a good number her oxygen should be in? And how long has she been in the hospital? And Connie, how you doing? It says these women want to make a big deal out of anything women say. Again, their narrative. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's like, my God, y'all should have saw this comment section. It was brutal. I was like, man, are we really that mad over the word training? It was just kind of weird, you know, because if you follow the Nation of Islam, they have MGT, Muslim girls in training. Why aren't they mad about that word? Because I think most people need to be trained to some degree in something, right? So I don't know. Y'all tell me. And I'm just going through this. It says, Sunshine, how you doing? He says, I have no problem with what she said. Some women are reading in too much of a word. You have not been trained to what that man's specific living is. Stop overanalyzing because of what she accepts. Absolutely, right? And that very well could be what she meant, you know, because you do have to adapt to each other, especially if it's in a new relationship. You have to learn how to adapt, right? And so if you don't, you're going to have a schism and friction and be fighting all the time. And, you know, and true indeed, you know, some women and some men, they never really learn how to be a queen or a king, because let's be honest, y'all, we throw that word around with both words, a king and a queen, around a lot, and we misappropriate that word, when being a queen or a king is more than just a title. You have to actually behave as that. And we're applying that to some people who are acting like peasants. Let's just keep it real, right? So anyway, and Anais says, my father raised me. He's a king, and I wouldn't be half the queen I am today without him. I got my training in my rearing. Same here. My father as well, you know, trained my sister and I to be queens, if you will, and to behave that way. It really is a behavior. I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want, but are you really that? Are you behaving that way? Like, if you're really a queen or a king, you shouldn't even really have to tell people that I'm a queen, I'm a king. You should be able to walk into a room and a person be like, wow, now that is a queen. By how you carry yourself, by the things that you say, your thought process and all that, that's queenly behavior, I would guess, right? And Eric says she means well, but taken out of context as usual. Yeah, and I think at this point, people are really just mad at Monique because she did speak out against Oprah. I think that's really what it is. Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and that crowd. People were mad, and then it didn't help either that a lot of celebrities kind of turned their back on her. And Steve Harvey told her, sometimes you gotta, I'm basically paraphrasing, but raccoon in order to get where you want. And so she had a lot of high-profile people turn their backs on her. And a lot of people counted Monique out and told her basically she should have just shut up and took that Netflix deal where they want to offer, was it $500,000, and said you're not worth it, when she's like one of the most decorated Black females out there in, the entertainment industry. But it sounds like now she's got a production deal somewhere. Is pretty lucrative. So, it panned out for her. And Connie, you say, I have nothing against what Monique said. Yeah, I don't either. And I haven't had anything against her, what she said thus far. You know what I mean? So I just, to me, it just kind of indicates how bad off we are sometimes, as not us women, but I'm saying in general, Black women. And Frank says, women that don't speak shouldn't expect me to protect her. I don't take light to rudeness. Well, let me ask you this. So if you say hi to a woman and she doesn't speak, do you see her as that being rude, or maybe she just doesn't want to speak? I speak to people who speak to me, and I speak to people even if they don't speak to me. Like if I see somebody that make eye contact, say hello. Somebody says hello to me, I say, hey, how you doing? And I keep it pushing. I don't have to have my fist balled up and have an axe to grind. I think every dude that says hello to me is trying to get at me. And even if he is, it's not going to hurt me to say, hi, how you doing? And whatever. You also say, Connie, exactly, it's their business. And Lamarcus says, a king takes care of anything and everyone around him that's close. Yes, he protects the kingdom. And the queen is in the kingdom, right? And if you are with a true queen, a king, and, ladies, y'all can define that because the king is different to everybody, you're going to want to rise to the occasion. You want to become a queen. You want to do queenly things. You don't want to be a ratchet, loud talking and acting all crazy, and just doing the most all the time. You want to rise to the occasion. I would think, and a man is worth his weight and he's really doing right by a woman, I think she would automatically want to say, okay, well, let me go on and, get my stuff together. I don't know. And the Pioneer says, Black men are the most masculine men on the planet. Our problems aren't in the sexual department, but when it comes to being able to provide for our women and protect them, in most cases, are the issues. And so, yeah, money is an issue. The system, institutionally, that's an issue as well for Black men. But a lot of Black men's issue is belief system. And that's really most of our problems. We don't believe that we are capable or worthy of achieving such greatness, whatever greatness is, right? We don't think that we can do better. So a lot of times we don't. We just make excuses and we settle, right? And we say, well, I can't do it. I can't afford to do it. And, I don't have it. But it's like, well, did you ever try to go get it? Did you ever try to go do anything differently than what you're doing in order to be able to do said things? You know what I mean? And Chief Indian says, right, we want our property. And Tacky Chatty, what's going on? He says, it's important for a woman to know her level and for Black men to stop being, maybe went a dummy and check other men in certain instances when women act right. Yes, you know what? I love that you said that, because in a lot of cases, men, and it's true, and since you brought up men, I'm not saying it's not true for women, but men won't check other men. Men won't check other men at all, especially if he has a good woman. How many of y'all men out there, have checked another man for wanting to do a good woman wrong? Y'all know he with a good woman. How many of y'all say that y'all need to quit tripping? You need to quit tripping. That's a good woman. Like, if you don't want her, I do, So how many? I'm just asking. Olivia says, I want a man to be the same plus what he wants me to be, because I already know I got him all the way around and I'm good. Good point. And Tacky Chatty says, women need to act like women. Men need to protect the bro code, which also protects women. Yes, I love that. Exactly. Like, A lot of times people, men think, it's all about the men. And, if, my homie is cheating on his woman, your secret is good with me. I ain't going to say nothing. Yeah, telling you over here when you ain't really over here, instead of saying, man, I might tell on you. I can't hold no secret like that. I think you need to get your stuff together and, get with that woman and y'all build something and do something. Like, stop being out in these streets acting stupid, right? I don't know. Y'all tell me. And LaMarcus, you say, yep. The Pioneer says, when I say stronger, I mean both physically and emotionally. And by smarter, I mean of higher intelligence, literally smarter. If a man meets both of these requirements, most women automatically submit. Yeah. I'm going to say this to you. There's a lot of women who it's going to be pretty tough to beat in the smarts department. But this is the other thing. A man who is wise would be able to say, you know what, my woman is pretty smart. Let me learn from her. She knows what she's talking about. And I'm not saying he don't have anything to teach her. Of course he does. But I think it should be a balance. If she knows more than you in certain departments or whatever, hey, baby, what you got? I'm all ears. Tell me what I need to do or what I need to know, right? And so I don't know about the smarter part. I think both people should have something of intellect to bring to the table, right? Now, physically, yeah. Most men are probably going to be stronger, than their woman, unless he's with Big Shirley or something. I don't know. And Tacky Chatty says, everything falls in line. Uh-oh, my comments jumped up. Let's see here. Man, my comments jumped up. 1 second. Okay, he goes, everything falls in line after that. Yes, indeed. And Olivia says, yes, she still has a low self-esteem. To settle for that, I believe no one should settle for that just because the relationship makes you feel good for a while. Yeah, it's that feel good that get us jacked up, right? We forget. We don't see any of the cues or clues at all. And you're welcome, LaMarcus. Again, we hope that your family gets better, honestly. And Frank says, but if she was bashing black men, women wouldn't have the smoke for her. Not at all, because we know there's a market for that too, of black women bashing black men. Oh yeah, they be, girl, you telling the truth? Yeah, these men ain't this, they ain't that. So yeah, you're right. And let's see here. And Frank, you say, no, I read that already. And LaMarcus says, thank you as well. No, you're welcome. And Chief India says, right. And he says, I don't need to be raised by a man that's not my father. My father trained me. Yes, indeed. That's where it should come from, right? But if, in Monique's case, like she said, he was the next man to do it, right? And Pioneer says, sis, that doesn't mean a man must have both qualities to submit. Plenty of women will submit to stupid men too. But I'm saying what will almost guarantee a woman to submit to his leadership. Okay, yeah, well, I get that. Yeah. Yeah, but he's not going to be smart about everything, right? But yeah, I mean, I think a woman should, if she's trying to get in a relationship with a good man, she should already know she should submit to his leadership, right? Especially if he's leading her in the right direction, right? And one who cares, how you doing? Says, good evening, Demetra in chat. And Mikhail, 250, how you doing? Says, she's still twerking. You talk about Sierra. Yeah, she might want to, maybe Russell had a talk with her like, yo, you can't be my queen out in the streets doing that still, okay? You was doing that with Future. You can't do that with me if you want to have a future, right? And Terry says, I believe she means well. Some people blow things out of proportion. We are all growing and all in training. Yes, indeed. We're always evolving, right? If you ever get to the point to where you feel like, okay, well, I'm done evolving, then you're in trouble. And so is the person that you're trying to be with. Life is about evolving, going to the next level, whether it's physically, mentally, financially. Just you should always be trying to do better, right? I'm not saying never be satisfied, but just improvement, right? And Thunder says, if a man needs to overpower the other person to make them feminine because he doesn't, the other person will make him the feminine person in the partnership. This sounds like some prison stuff. Well, there was something clearly in Sydney, that's Monique's husband's name, something in him to where she was like, okay, all right, let me go and button my lip up a little bit. Let me go and listen to what he got to say. It was something in him that made her put her guard down, because it doesn't sound like she had her guard down before that. So whatever it was that appealed to her from him, don't sound like they really had. Now, maybe it sounded like a little bit she was trying to give him the business, and she let him know, you ain't got to be all tough and walking tall and all of that with me. And she listened, and they're still together. So I don't know. Pioneer says, when it comes to Sierra and people like that, they are celebrities. We can't go by what they do, because most of it is fake and designed to get attention and get them to gossip. Okay. And tonight says, how can he be teaching to be a queen when he lives off of her and Monique has low self-esteem? No, thank you. Well, who's to say he lives off of her? He's her manager. Monique's husband is her manager. It doesn't sound like he, was some dude off the street. And see, that's kind of what she was saying too, that in her relationships, she equated money to her having the most say-so. Money to her having the biggest, male part in the relationship, to where you can't tell me nothing. I'm holding all the chips in the dip, And so I don't know who had more money. It probably was her. But, it sounds like he earns his own money. But you got to give him some credit, because a lot of people were saying, oh, well, it's because of him that she lost all these deals. But she said it's funny how none of y'all had anything to say when these white men who were my agents was selling me up the river to Lee Daniels for $50,000 to do Precious. Nobody was mad at that. Nobody was mad at them when they kept telling me, well, next time we'll get them. Next time we'll get you a better deal. Nobody was mad at them. But when her husband, who was a black man, steps in and says, no, baby, you are worth more. And even if it means we hold out, then we'll do that. But people have a problem with us. And I'm not saying this is you, Tanaya, but people have a problem with a black man gets with a black woman and finally starts doing, not saying finally like none of y'all doing it, but finally starts doing what black men do, and that's leading his woman to the right direction. Why do we have a problem with that as women? And so what if he's living off of her? He's helping her get things that she didn't have before. Monique has a whole production deal that's lucrative. She's the first black woman, if that means anything to y'all, to headline, I want to say the first woman to headline a major show in Las Vegas. And that was under his leadership. See, we as black women, we got to stop all of that. Oh, it's my money, it's my money, it's my money. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you can get in the bed with a man, or you can get in the bed with your bank card, and ask yourself which one is going to satisfy you the most at that moment. I'm just asking. So anyway, Tacky Chatty says, black women think in order to fully admit black men need to be perfect. And that's, I think he meant a lie in itself, because it cut off. He says, don't get me wrong. There are some men who front as real ones. Yes, that is true. I'm a witness. I've been with some men who fronted as a real one. But nobody is perfect. Nobody. And Jafia says, in Sierra's case, to me, adopts to whomever is taking care of her. I mean, that could be true too, but, again, that speaks to the caliber of man. Russell seems like he's on his game. He's a citizen. He's, well-dressed and well-spoken. He's doing things that's productive. He ain't got 1,000 kids out there. The kids he has is with her, So, I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably true to some degree. And Frankie says, black women bashing her for big-upping her man. Shaking my head shows black women aren't for following a man's leadership. Shaking my head, chaos. I agree with you on that. There's some women who won't follow any man. He can have $1 billion under the mattress, and she ain't gonna follow him either. She gonna find a reason why she shouldn't follow him, right? And Thunder says that if she calls him daddy, so what? This is nothing new. Married folks in the country call each other ma and pa. Good point. And Connie says, I think Monique have every right to call her husband Big Daddy if she like. Yeah, that's her man. She can call him whatever she want. Like we have this cookie cutter approach a lot of times. Well, I wouldn't call my man that. That's nasty. I just feel that's you and your man. You wouldn't call daddy, but you can't tell Monique what to call her man. And Frankie says, Are you talking to Jafia? And you also say, I don't call women queen. Sorry. Well, why not? Why don't you call them queen? And Olivia says, I went through molestation too. As I mentioned before in the past, she's settling. So you think she's settling for the man she's with now? Is that what you're saying? And I'm sorry that happened to you, as far as what happened to you in the past again. And Asada says, Muslims, girls in training, not women. Girls is the key word. We train children, not women. Well, that's what the MGT call their women as well. So the women go by MGT. And for whatever reason, I don't know why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad decided to call it girls, but that's what they're known as. MGT is Muslim Girls in Training. And that's where they learn how to be women, how to cook, clean. And, as Farrakhan likes to call women, he says they're scientists in the kitchen. A woman can kill you or heal you by the food that she makes. So they learn all of that stuff. And so that's why they're in training, right? They know how to sew and they're good with money. So it's a whole host of things. So I don't think the word girl is meant to be the meaning. I just think it's really a description. So I hope that helps. And Moni says, I left a message and I don't see it to meet you at 6:30. Shout out to you and Donovan. I hope you're enjoying a wonderful Sunday. Much Detroit love to you both. I read that. You were like one of the first comments. I did read it, but anyway, welcome again. And Jafai says, king and queen are thrown around far too much. The words are affiliated with race instead of grace. I like that. I really like that because it really is a behavior. It's not just, well, I'm a queen. Well, why are you a queen? You ask most people or women or men, and why you're a king or queen? I just am. Well, I mean, you got to be more than just am, right? Like, what makes you that? And Frank says, if y'all disagree, I don't care. But a lot of Black women don't want to follow leadership or order. And that is the complaint from not just men. Ayala said it. Shahrazad Ali said it. And somebody else, I can't remember who said it. There's a lot of people who would agree with that. That we as Black women, and listen, I'm not bashing Black women because I am, right? But we are, as Black women, a lot of us are out of order. And I say that all the time. We as women have stopped teaching our young girls how to be women and how to be soft and how to be feminine. And, there's a little bit more that goes into it just because we don't want to, right? A lot of times we are single parents. We are at home by ourselves. We're doing most of the providing. And so a lot of times it is hard to be soft when you have to also do the role as a man. You don't want to be soft when you just got through busting a hustle 10, 12 hours a day, come home and take care of the kids, pay the bills and do everything. Yeah, it kind of makes you don't like, when do I get to be that? So see what I'm saying? So it's a little bit more to it than just, we don't want to be that. And you also say, if she wasn't Black women wouldn't be saying anything. Yeah, I think we really need to let our guard down, not just in relationships, but when people are trying to impart wisdom on us. Like you ever hear that saying, some people just listen to respond instead of listen to hear and to understand. I think we do that a lot. You ain't talking to me. She said training. I ain't no dog. But it's like, well, did you really think she meant she was a dog or that she was a dog? I don't know. And Lamarcus says, a month she's been hospitalized. She's been at least 92 and 96 oxygen levels. She's on a ventilator now. Wow. Well, I really am pulling for her. I'm praying for her. What is her prognosis and your son? And Olivia says she's afraid because she doesn't want to be in another relationship that fails. But F, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah, and whomever else, because they really are not good for our people. That I agree with. But I mean, why can't we take Monique at her word that she's happy and that she loves who she's with? Who are we to say that she's not? You know what I mean? And Frank says, men are the leadership, men provide the order. I agree with that. The man is the head of the household, regardless of how much money you making. I know a lot of women have a problem with that. They think because they making the most money that they are the head of the household. But I want to ask women this. I know it ain't none of y'all. Could you really be turned on by a man that you get to boss around and tell him what you ain't gonna do and you don't get to sit down and I'm doing this and we do? Could you really be turned on by a man who will allow you to do that to him? I couldn't be. I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't want to be with a man, because you know what it would remind me of? It would remind me of like a mother and child relationship. And most women who talk to their men like that wouldn't dare talk to their children like that. You know what I mean? So I couldn't be turned on by that. That's just me. And Olivia says, and they did her wrong. Yes, Oprah and them did do her wrong. And Denise, how you doing? It says, I never met a stranger. I'm that person talking to everyone on the gas station in the mornings. Yeah, same here. Hello, how you doing? You know, we didn't wake up together on the wrong side of the bed, so why wouldn't I speak to you, right? Unless you're driving like a creepy van or something. I'm just kidding. And she said that 28, how you doing? He said the king protects the queen. Yeah, but a lot of times, you know, I think women forget that something about doorbell ring in the middle of the night and she running to the damn door. And she got a whole man laying in the bed. And it's like, why are you running to the door? That's what he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to go to the door. Because if you open the door, somebody strangle you around your neck, then you're going to be trying to holler for him, but you can't because you can't breathe, right? Somebody's choking you out. So let the man get the door. And Pioneer says, not every black man will be a king and not every black woman will be I'm a queen. I think that's what you meant. That's a fact. Well, that is unfortunately true. And Denise, you say the king protects the queen. Yes, indeed. And let's see here. All right, let's see if I'm making any progress. And Denise, she says, I did too. And Moni says, if you've never been taught by a real strong woman I knew that was going to happen. My comments jumped up. Okay, let's see here. Bear with me. Where did that comment go? Okay, if you've never been taught by a real strong woman that know how to handle her own and be a lady the way that God intended, she can never train her daughter to be a queen and to accept roles properly. I agree with that. The Pioneer says men generally don't check, quote unquote, other men unless they are prepared for the possibility of violence. And that's really sad that men aren't teachable either. You know, a man should be able to say, man, come on, you tripping. And he'd be like, you know what? Maybe I am. Give him something to think about, you know? And he also says, so if I step to a man to check him, I'm going to be prepared for him to react violently, which means I'm going to be careful to make sure whatever I'm attempting to check him over is worth it. Well, I'm talking about your homies. I ain't talking about old Jim Bob up the street who you see got a woman riding in his Cadillac every other day, a different woman. I'm talking about your friends, your homies, right? That's who I'm talking about. The ones you know got a good woman and who ain't acting right. I'm talking about, can you say, look, homie, Gloda Dean is a good woman. Gloda Dean is a good woman. Why you tripping? Are you able to do that to your friends? I ain't talking about this on any old dude up the street you don't have any rapport with. I'm talking about your friends. And Marty says, well, at the end of the day, she's getting mature. She knows what she's got to do. At 54 years of age, I think if she hasn't learned it by now, she would be lost. I think Monique can handle herself. Yeah, I think so too. And the Pioneer says, for example, if a man is beating a close female relative or a female friend of mine, I'll check him. But if a neighbor is cussing out his wife and talking trash or nasty to her, that's between them. Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to tell y'all, my dad, I've seen my dad take off running to go help women who were in distress. We were at a family picnic one day, a family reunion, and there was a man at another party a little bit ways down. He was beating up a woman, and everybody stood around watching. My dad was, I want to say he was late 60s. He took off like a streak of lightning and broke it up. Now, could my dad have been killed or hurt? Yeah, but he was like, you're not beating up no women on my watch. So, I mean, that's a personal decision, I would think, right? And Moni says, no, I read that. And Thunder says, a black woman can't speak if I say hi. I wonder if she was being attacked by a white supremacist, would she still not speak or would she ask for help? She can't say hi to me, but I'm supposed to throw my life away to help her. Well, maybe if you help her, it would rearrange her understanding of things, right? She'll be like, oh, wow, I might I want to say hi to some of these brothers out here, right? And Moni says, I'm really loving your blouse. It's mystical. It looks like it could be a wonderful, beautiful environment piece that you can put some sexy lights and have a wonderful glass of wine glowing. Okay. Well, thank you. I've had this shirt for a long time, but I thank you for that. And Anna says, I have not arrived. I'm always learning. Me either. I'm always learning. I don't feel like, okay, well, all right, that was enough knowledge. I'm good, right? You never should stop learning. And Hebesha King, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, you are so hood. I love it. Promote the South African whipping boer white women's. You got this. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, not white women. Who? White farmers. What am I thinking? White farmers. And you say you serve life. I thank you for that. And Eric says, I agree, Dee. I speak to my people, especially in these turbulent times we are in. That brother speaking to you may be your savior against these Karens and hate. Yeah, you never know. Hey, listen, that brother might be your next king. He might be your next boo thing. You don't know that. You don't know who you're not saying hi to. Of course, I'm speaking to you single women. You know, you might say hi, and that might lead you down the aisle somewhere. You don't know who you're not saying hi to, right? I'm not saying you should say hi to men because he might be the next one. Just say hi because it's the right thing to do, I would think. And Pioneer says, sis, we are talking about two different things. One, just having a nice relationship, or two, having a relationship where a woman submits to a man. Sometimes they're one and the same, sometimes not. Okay, good point. And Moni says, Demetra, I have so many men. Oh, I have so many men because I wouldn't speak to them, not because I'm being mean. I'll be in a mental, spiritual state sometimes that I feel the energy is not positive, so I say nothing. Is it going to kill you to say hello, hi, hey? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I personally, as a woman, I don't get that either. I don't get why, we don't speak. And a lot of times that's a big complaint about Black women. I don't know if it's true with other women, but I hear that a lot with Black women. We just don't speak, like we're rude. And I will say this to y'all as a Black woman. I've spoken to some Black women and they didn't speak to me either. I didn't take it personally. I just charged it to the game and kept on pushing. Denise says, today I got ugly about Black men on Instagram. They're going in on Black women, comparing us to the other races he prefers. But instead of just saying that it was somehow our fault. Yeah, but you know what, Denise? You're not going to change people like that's mind. He is ignorant, and that kind of ignorance is a firm decision. While it is very annoying, because I get annoyed a lot, I just keep it pushing. And you know what? Do we really want him anyway? Let them have him. We're not losing nothing significant if that's how he thinks about Black women, right? I'm just saying. And Moni says, then Demetra, if you don't want to, I think you meant Demetra, if you don't want to speak to a lot of these men that get mad and want to call you a female dog, and some women will be over instant as though they're lesbian. I really dislike that. Well, yeah, there's some men out there too. If you don't want to speak, they will say things to you. And in some cases, some women have been harmed. If a woman doesn't want to speak to you, you shouldn't be putting your hands on her, calling her names. So that's not right either. And Sunlight says, Demetra, exactly. Women recognize males that are qualified to lead. Yeah, for the most part. I know it took me some time to get to that point. I'm 50. Lamarcus says Monique's husband was already well off. Yeah, so again, a lot of I don't understand that. Like why talk bad about this man? I'm trying to figure out what exactly he's done to have people dog him to the point, because there's a lot of Black women with white dudes in the industry that Black women, Serena, I'm pretty sure is making more money than her white man. Ain't nobody dragging him through the mud. Talking about he using her. I haven't heard that yet. Maybe it's just me. And let's see here. And Natia, you say exactly as let's see here. And Habesha King, he says Don Lemon paid for his husband Timmy. Yeah. In that case, I mean, is anybody mad at that? I mean, we can be here all day asking, bringing up great examples. Pioneer says Sierra was with 2 men already and will probably be with a woman next year. We can't go by what entertainers do. We need real life examples of successful relationships that chart our direction. Well, I was just using her as an example how people make the difference of her being with Future, who was, some people will say was no good. I don't know Future. And with Russell, who seems to be a little bit more on his square. That I'm not saying we should use celebrities as a litmus test. I was just saying that's what the comparison a lot of people use. But yeah, I mean, we all know somebody, everyday people who are the example of love, right? And making it work. So yeah, I agree with you. And Kelly, how you doing? He says, speak. Denise says, oh, it was so ugly, so offensive. The comparison was meant to make sure. He said, I feel less than. And Tanaya, you laughing at me. I mean, I'm just saying. And Denise says, my spell check is out of line. That's okay. I'm getting pretty good at being able to tell what you mean. So don't worry about that. And Moni says, the one thing they hate is an outspoken woman that is not loud, but into herself. And a woman that is a go-getter. She's considered rude and an angry black woman. If a black man is assertive, he's a threat. Yeah, that's typically how they are seen, right? Pioneer says, Queen, I don't know of any woman who will submit to a man dumber than her. None. I know a few who will use a stupid man, but if he's dumber, she usually doesn't respect him much. Well, to me, dumb is subjective. I mean, what does it mean? Is he dumber? Like he just like, I don't know nothing. Which way do I go, dumb? Or are you saying he's dumb because he doesn't know and read all the books that she reads? Or, he doesn't like, what do you mean by that? Right? Is he bad with money? Does he have like no clue at all about life? Like, what do you mean by that? Because I don't know. I don't know how to gauge that. Frankie say exactly, Demetra. And Thunder says, that's the thing. If a black man does or doesn't, he's in the eyes of the world, the worst person in the world. Yes. And we really need to cut that out. And Frankie also say, haven't met any that deserve the title. Okay. So you said that's why you don't call women queen. Well, I'm sure you'll find one and you'll be calling her queen all day and night. And Facts Not Feeling says, any woman ever try that? I got more money than you, quote unquote nonsense. I will bounce her out of my life immediately. Yeah, that is a horrible, I would imagine, relationship to be in with somebody. I mean, man or woman, a man or a woman that says, I got more money than you, and you need to do what I say, and you don't mean nothing because I got more. Give me a dude living in a cracker box with a cot, over a man that wants to throw his accomplishments in my face, right? And Denise says, I think Monique loves her husband. I like them as a team. I think you mean, yeah, you could tell that they really love each other, regardless of the dynamics of the relationship. If you ever watch them two together, and she's just like hanging on his every word, right? Like she just can't get enough of him. Like, how many of us would really love to be in a relationship like that, And Sunlight says, the queen thing has been ruined. 1 minute you're a queen, the next minute you're a B because you won't give sexual access. My 2 cents. Yeah, I try to stay away from men like that who are only interested in me because of what's under my clothes. I need you to be interested in me before you get what's under my clothes. You know what I mean? And I think we should all be that way, men and women, because some of y'all men just be like, pow, just putting it out there and be like, she used me. So we we need to be a little bit more selective with who we give our bodies to. And I would just say try to get to know a person. Like you lay down with somebody, they call it soul ties. Yeah, you giving that person a piece of you you'll never get back. So you kind of want to be sure about, to some degree, who that person is, right? And Tacky Chatty says, new subscriber. I'll leave on this note. Black women, if you have the bag, it's okay to have a real man manage. This is a new time. Remember, real men with the bag used to always let his woman manage. Yes, indeed. And thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I tell you guys all the time, my mom and dad, my mom had a nursing license, degree and all that. But my father wanted her to stay home and raise the children. And he brought his check home. Well, he owned his own business, but he brought the money home. And she managed the money. So you're right. I mean, it is a new time. We need to really start to rearrange our understanding. And Thunder says, it's like when someone is always saying, I'm grown, I'm grown. Isn't it strange how they never seem to be acting like they are grown? Yes, exactly. You grown, that's you throwing that around, but you acting like a child though, right? So you really just using words that don't apply to you. And Frankie says, Demetra, exactly. And the church lady, how you doing? He says, I have kids. I ain't taking on no grown one. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be with a man that, I got to sit down, do this, do that, and we doing what I say do. That I tell you can do that. Now you need to come straight home. Yeah, like I said, most women wouldn't even talk to their children like that. Denise says, I have no problem submitting to a man, even if he's not the right one. It's the only way to be with a man. If he's not the right one, I'll just get out. And it doesn't matter about my wages. Exactly. And Kelly says, no moist men. Yeah, I mean, as a woman about herself, and you ain't getting turned on by no man who's moist. All right. A Norbit, for a lack of better words. Now, Rasputia was a hell of a chick, and I'm not saying it in a good way, but, I don't know. I just could never be turned on by a man who just would allow me to just run roughshod all over him. It really would feel like another kid. And Olivia says, the whole world, I hate when my comments jump up. Bear with me here, bear with me. I probably should just read them so I can catch up a little bit, and that they don't do that. He says the whole world is against us. We got to do things to get on the same page and figure the rest out later. Yes, indeed. And Frank says, ladies, you can't have it both ways. A masculine man you boss around and then throw in his face. You make more money than him. You might as well be with another woman. Exactly. Hey, Sierra Trey, why you going like you sleep? Wake up. And Honeydew, how you doing? And Mr. Pirate Brain, what's going on with you? I am doing fabulous. How about yourself? And Moni says, when a woman speaks up and tells the truth, those who know that they're not doing right, they become insecure, hostile, and find fault. That's all it is to keep going over the same stuff. It's crazy. And then he says, to me, it's really not up for debate who's the head. I don't want his role ever. Me either. And I don't think a lot of men realize that. A lot of women, not all, a lot of women don't want that role. We don't want to have to be acting masculine and doing it all. We want a man to help balance that out so we can be soft. So we can say, hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, yes, honey, it's my pleasure. We want to be doing that. We don't want to be, hey, how you doing? I'm all right. And the pioneer says, sis, you said that your father helps women who are in distress, even if he doesn't know them. But did you say your father got hurt, an arm or a leg broke not too long ago for getting involved? Yes. My father in his 70s was trying to break up two women who were fighting, and two men were standing around watching them. And he tried to break it up. My dad is a little guy, and one of the dudes grabbed my dad and flung my dad. And he fell and broke his hip. And by the grace of God, my father, he's got a little bit of issues with his hip, but he didn't die. Because most elderly people who break their hips, they don't come back from that. But, so from that point, we had to tell him, Daddy, let those people do what they gonna do, because it did almost cost your life. Now, if you was younger and you might have a point, but you're older now, so you can't be doing that. You know what I mean? And so Moni says, Demetra, you can't submit to some man. Some men will take advantage and want to be physically and verbally, financially, and in some cases sexually abusive. You got to let God lead you with proper wisdom. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you're not gonna, but then your emoji was a clown. That's when you let a clown lead. Like, you should, be able to weed out the clowns, especially when you get our age, right? I would think. And Kelly says, your dad showed what a real man does. Yeah, he did, you know, but again, unfortunately, he got hurt, but he just not going to sit back and let no woman get beat up. That's just not who my dad is, right? Hey, Don, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetra, goodbye. Yes, indeed. And Pioneer says, Queen, chances are Glodadine already has a good man named Melvin who's been working at the plant for 43 years, who doesn't bear at her and brings the paycheck home every Friday. No need to check him. Yeah, they got their thing going on. Glodadine and Melvin, they got a good thing going on. They know what each other gonna say before they say it, right? And Marty says, Demetra, I'll give you an example. You got some men that want to control how a woman dresses, how she wears her makeup, but at the same time, if he dates a Becky, he wouldn't dare do that hypocrisy. Ugh. I'll let y'all battle that out in the comment section. And Frank says, black women not speaking to a black man because he might try to holler at them is weird. Yeah, well, you know, she has a guard up for some reason, and maybe the reason is a personal one. Maybe she has been hurt. I mean, maybe she spoke to a man and he did try to snatch her in a van one time or something. I don't know. But yeah, I know. I had a friend of mine once, and she told me, she says, you know, I know how to give a man that look that I don't want him to talk to me. And I said, well, why you got to be doing all of that? You know, you could say if he, you know, hi, and if you want to talk to you, not interested. Well, you know, I'm not really interested right now. And, you know, all of that, but you ain't got that. I didn't get that. Sorry about that. Sometimes my I have this type of mouse here. This mouse, and if I swipe it, then it'll knock me off. So sorry about that. I knew that was gonna happen. I should start thinking more positively. All right, let me catch up to where I was. All right. And so Denise says, so you're talking to Frank. And Denise says flat, weird. And Jafia says, I speak regardless of my mood. Basically, I am a happy person anyway. Yes, indeed. And Kevin, how you doing? Says, the only thing I can contribute after 25-year failed marriage, don't let others tell you how to love, and remembering that mutual feelings are great when you direct them at each other. Yes, indeed. Much wisdom. We need that. And Terry says, your dad is an example of a true FOI. We are taught to protect the female. Yeah, he didn't even think twice. He just, matter of fact, he even put on his cape. He just took off running, and I took off behind him because I was like, damn, I don't want to happen to my father. But it was just a bunch of dudes watching this man beat. And then a woman was in a wheelchair. On top of that, and then he says, no, we don't. And Monique says, truth be told, Demetra, Monique has been taking care of all three of her husbands. She has ever had. She has admitted she's always been the heavy breadwinner. That's fine if you're into taking care of a man. Well, you know, she's the breadwinner, but she's got a man. I don't know their financial situation or what it was or what it is, but it sounds like he's helping her make some major moves. So how can we really be mad at that? It ain't like he's sitting up at the house having women feed him grapes as she's out there, you know, busting a hustle. I mean, he's her manager. She was paying somebody else that. Why shouldn't she keep the money at home and pay her man that, a manager fee? Like, why do we have a problem with that? I'm just wondering. In fact, Not Feeling says, today, some of the sisters are dating white supremacists. If you try to save them, you could end up in prison or dead. Well, yeah, I mean, you want to use caution, right? I've on the African Diaspora News Channel, I've covered some stories the last couple of weeks of sisters dating white supremacists or whatever, and they are 6 feet deep and, you know, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think we need to lose that narrative. You know, I'm going to get with me a white man. He going to treat me better. I mean, I'm just saying. And Thunder says, and if he helps and gets hurt and he says, I'm hurt for trying to help you, she will say, I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't force you to. Oh, well, yeah, but I think as a man, I think instinctively speaking, I think that's what men do, right? I think you see a woman in distress, you don't, you know, calculate, okay, she might say this, she might say that. I think just as a man, you're like, okay, well, let me go try to at least diffuse the situation, right? And Kevin, Cadis, how you doing? It says, I'm going to keep saying hello to my beautiful black sisters, whether they answer or not, because it's simply good manners. Yes, indeed. Just keep speaking. You know, honestly, at this point, it's a numbers game. Somebody going to say hello, right? Sunlight says, very true, Demetra. Let them do what they do. If it was truly genuine, they wouldn't feel the need to be so vocal about it. Yes, indeed. And Moni says, the only thing I say is if you want women to do the right thing, I'm for that. But don't act like you're not the type of woman that's, in my view, hard up and pressed that you have to pay me to be with you. Well, I mean, hopefully a man doesn't have to pay you to be with him. I mean, I hope not. I hope you would just want to be with him. You know, having some money helps, but, you know, be with him because he has other attributes as well. And Denise says, I usually make more, but I know black men are purposely put in that position. I won't do it to them. I'll just be Monique. Yeah, I mean, it's true. A lot of black women are making more money than black men. So what do? Never date? Or maybe you get together with a man and y'all figure out how to make more money together. And Moni says, Monique has been friends with this man, Demetra, for years. She do take full 100 care of this man and has said so for years that she'll go along with whatever to keep the marriage. Well, that's what most people would do, right? I mean, I'm not talking about abuse and stuff, but wouldn't you do whatever you need to do to keep your marriage intact? I'm talking about healthy stuff. Ain't that what you're supposed to do? Or are you supposed to just be bucking the system and making it hard to stay in a marriage? I mean, you're supposed to do what you need to do in a stay in a marriage, especially if you love one another. See, one thing I learned a long time ago is love is not convenient. It's not always convenient. We think it's supposed to be convenient, supposed to suit my narrative and my needs all the time. Sometimes it's not going to suit your narrative. Sometimes it's not going to be convenient for you to concede and say, okay, honey, today let's make it about you. Today, let's do what you want to do. Today, let's see it your way. So the marriage can grow. I mean, you can't be fighting all the time. I think it would be tiring. And Ciela Trey, you say, some females love talking anti-black men, but speak positive of the 3 white Halle Berry temporary lovers. Oh, you gonna bring Halle Berry into this? Yeah, we shouldn't be talking anti about each other at all. Pioneer says, but if you're asking me, would I check DeMario and Pookie over how they treat their women? Well, if these good women are with them, despite their mistreatment, obviously whatever they're doing is working. Well, yeah, I mean, ever heard that saying, if you like it, I love it? If you know that she's with a man and he's not doing it right and she's going to stay, I mean, what can you really do? There's nothing you can do. But I'm talking about in the case where you see a woman is really being, mistreated, I think you should at least try, right? I mean, as a woman, I've seen that before and I've intervened. Probably wasn't a good idea, but it worked. And Fact Not Feeling says, I'll be honest, I did this test, say hi to black women, Asian women, and white women. Guess who is more likely to frown and who was more likely to say hi and have a conversation? I'm black like Donovan. Okay, so you're saying that the black women were least likely to say hello to you? Well, we need to change that. And Olivia says some people that are called dumb, quote unquote, are actually some of the smartest people in the world. Yeah, that's why I said I don't have a litmus test for that. I guess it's really open to interpretation. And Moni says, it's nothing wrong, Demetra, and black men standing up for his gorgeous queen. I'm for that beyond 100%. In Monique's husband's case, he's only looking after his best interest, financially interest, and her money because of her money. Well, how do you know that? Put in the comment section your proof that he's only with Monique because of money. Show me your evidence, because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? And let's see here. Denise says, right, I see the way she looks at him. It's love. Kudos to them. Yeah, you could tell. I mean, like, she's just like, okay, daddy. Imani says, we all can have our flaws, Demetra, because no human being is 100% flawless, but to be naive, to be hard up and pressed in a different thing for a woman, want to take care of a man, it's all right at the end of the day. Well, it sounds like he's taking care of her too. To me, and Olivia, you say, yes, I'm sure we all would love to be in a relationship like that, but not sharing your significant other with others. That's what an open relationship is. And with who thought, well, yeah, so they say they're in an open relationship, but again, that works for them. I wouldn't want to be in an open relationship, but the crazy part, a lot of people are in open relationships and don't even know it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's okay, but they know it and they're fine with that. And so if they're fine with that and that helps keep their union together, then again, who are we to judge and say they're wrong, right? And Denise, you say me either. And Olivia says open with both sexes. Come on now. Now I think they meant like she goes to be with men and he is with women. I ain't heard they like fluid like that, but I didn't hear it. Don't mean it ain't true. So I don't know. And Try, how you doing? He says a courtship. And Thunder says what he did was be a black man and he is straight. I never hear them badmouth gay black men because the gay black man is not a threat to her position of dominance. So with that, the only good black man is a gay one. Oh, wow. Pioneer says, sis, you just proved part of my point. How you wouldn't respect a man like Norbit, laugh out loud, a man who just let a woman runs roughshod all over him. That's why I meant by mentally strong. Well, a man like Norbert has got other issues. If he would allow and stay in a relationship with a woman who treats him that way. You know what I mean? So Norbert, you know, once he's a nice guy. I'm not saying a woman would want to be with him because he's a nice guy, but a man who's kind of mealy-mouthed and I don't know, he gonna get ran over eventually by somebody. And Moni says, you got something, Demetra. In the Hebrew Israelites, they don't believe in calling each other queen or king, and they'll find flaw with it. At the end of the day, it's a good thing when you know God for yourself. Well, yeah, you should know God for yourself. And yeah, you should lean on a higher calling, God or whatever your belief system is to help guide you, the ancestors. You know, what would you like? My mom is no longer here, but I think about what would my mama say? What would my mom want me to do? I will tell you this, about a year or so before my mom passed, you know, my mom was single. My mom was a very beautiful woman, you know, and unfortunately she had her guard up with men. And she told me because she had just been hurt so much, you know. So she said she had got to a point to where she would do before it was done to her because she didn't want to be on the other end of receiving so much pain. But so I had just gotten out of a relationship. I was married for 10 months. And it was one of the most painful breakups I ever experienced. And so I was like, I'm going to be single, team single. I'm just going to be doing me, right? My mom told me, she says, I don't want you to be alone. I don't want you to die alone. She says, because that's what I said. That's what I would say. I don't want to, be with a relationship. I'll be single. But she says, I don't want you to be by yourself. I want you to be with a good man. And, y'all go off into the sunset together. And it changed the way I thought. But that wisdom came from my mom. And so today I think about what would my mom say and what would my mom want me to do. So that's, to me, is my higher calling. And Olivia says, stop it, please. Stop sharing your partners with others. But again, that you can't, if that's what you want to do, then who are we to tell them not to, right? It's not for me and it's not for you, but, and Kevin, you say, Monique simply laid a simple step towards our people being able to unite, build, and withstand white supremacy. I agree with you. Pioneer says, one of the problems with this conversation is you and most of the women in the chat have no problem with a good man taking the leadership position. Problem is many women don't, but aren't in the chat. Well, they might be listening. I don't know. They might be listening. Well, hopefully they are. Everybody don't click in the chat. Some people do watch from afar. That I do know. But yeah, we need to get to a point to where we are able to take leadership from our men. And Denise says, and I've seen black men do what your dad did. Yeah, run to the rescue. And Moni says, many of the East Indian descent men and those that are Arabian descent, not all, but a few that I've seen that practice Islam treat their women worse, than garbage, verbally and threatening demeanor. Well, that could probably be said for a lot of people. But then too, if we're looking at it from a Western point of view, culturally speaking, to them, in their culture, it might be acceptable for how their men talk to them in whatever way it is. Maybe that's just how they roll. But over here in the West, I think women, we see things a lot differently. Like, in Afghanistan, women don't have a lot of rights. And over here, we're like, well, women should be able to do this. And women should be able to wear what they want to wear. And why they got to cover their eyes up. And men this. But see, now we done put them in a position to have to walk all of that back because the United States walked away after giving those women so much liberation. And now the men are like, now go put some damn clothes back on. You know what I mean? Because we want to apply our ideology to other women. So I don't know if that works for them, Moni. You know what I mean? And the Pioneer says, sis, I'm sorry to hear that about your father. I remember you saying that. That's my point about getting involved in those streets with, my comments jumped up. Let's see. I'm going to find it. And I'm going to read these comments for real. I'm not going to be talking no more. So I'm sorry to hear that. I remember you saying that. That's my point about getting involved on the streets with people with a savage mind. There is little to benefit from. Yes, indeed. And Jafia says, I hope everybody have a fantastic work week. Yes, indeed. Let's make some money. And Jafia says, by the way, it doesn't cost a dime to say hello and smile while doing it. Yes. Pioneer says, it's one thing to step in and to defend a woman being cussed out by her man if it happens every now and then. But in a society where it happens all the time, you'll be fighting every day, unfortunately. Man, this comment section jumped up again. Hold on a second. Okay, and then Brother Samuel, how you doing? And Frankie says, but how would you know who's gonna act like that? Sunlight and Leather and Luxury Cars, how you doing? And Pioneer says, I might have to spend the next hour getting on the sisters about your unrealistic expectations from Black men in the society. Time to turn it up. Laugh out loud. Well, bring it on, brother. Bring it on. And Denise says, money don't define the man. No, it does not. And a lot of women have just been taught that. Oh, girl, he got to be making this kind of money. If he ain't making that kind of money, and it doesn't define him. Like I said, money is nice. Money does make the world go around, right? Keeps the lights on. But that's not all there is to a man. And Moni says, but at the same time, I must say, Demetra, it's nothing wrong with doing right by your man, but nobody has to be a doormat on both ends. I believe in respecting that man, but never to be his puppet servant. Well, I mean, you can't go into a relationship thinking, oh, he gonna want me to be his slave. You got to go into it with a more of a positive outlook. And I understand we've been through some things, but I think we need to be a little bit more positive. And Leather and Luxury Cars say he's not beating her or bad for her from what I've seen. I just think this generation, sadly, we're afraid of love. Yes. And we don't know what love looks like, right? We have this skewed view of love. And T-Lady 1971, how you doing? He says, exactly. The Pioneer says, most men in the society aren't in a position to be the king who provides and protects them. Our sisters need to understand that and not expect it. So when you get it, you are appreciated more. Yeah, and then try to get with somebody you can build with. I don't think we do that anymore. A lot of us want that ready-made relationship and that ready-made man who's like, like Adam. Come into my garden, Eve. Everything you want is here. All you got to do is just be a queen. Like, we got to learn how to build each other. And we don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, okay, these are my attributes and those are yours. Let's put them together and let's build something. That's a concept we don't entertain a lot, I think. And let's see here. And Antoine, how you doing? And Thunder says, if you're a straight Black male looking at Black women, they call you a perv for looking at her butt. No one says anything. The gay Black male looking at a Black man now, why is it he not called out for this? Well, you know why. Without us having to go too deep, you know why. And the Pioneer says, first of all, sisters, tell the truth all the time. Stop saying money doesn't matter when you know it does. Just say it's not the only thing that matters. But don't sit up and say it doesn't matter. Well, I didn't say that. I said it matters too. It shouldn't matter first. Because there's a lot of rich dudes out there who ain't gonna treat you right. I want to be treated right. I want to be respected. Money does not buy you respect. It doesn't guarantee that a man is going to respect you, bring himself home at night, not talk to other women in the DMs. And that money don't guarantee that. In fact, in some cases, money makes those kind of things hard for you, right? Because he has access due to the money. I'm saying money is one of the things, but the other things, they like it needs to be balanced. I guess that's what I'm saying. So it does matter. Just like it matters to you as a man. If you get a woman and she's going to be a stay-at-home mom, or she's going to stay home. It matters to you that you come home and there's some food on the table. The house is clean. She's clean. She speaks to you in a lovely manner. That matters to you, right? That doesn't just matter that she just has a big butt. Like, she has to have more to it, right? I would think. And Moni says, it feels good to have your own place to stay in and not have to be reliant on someone, but can respect them, to support them without being jealous, and love them very much. So not have to put up with physical abuse. Well, nobody should put up with that. And Frank says, yes, Sunlight, I mean in person, men, women, I don't know. Hello, The Real LOC, how you doing? And the Pioneer says, why would you get on and say money doesn't matter when you know good and doggone well you need it to pay the bills and keep a home? Why would some of you say that? Don't lie to these young men. I'm telling y'all my opinion of it. It matters too. It's not the only thing that matters. Hey, Brotham, how you doing? And Marty says, Demetra, my grandmother is 97 years old. She had to be aggressive and assertive, had 2 husbands, raised 6 kids, very aggressive, but at the same time, knew how to take care of a home respectfully. Well, you know, especially in her generation, they had it down like that. And Olivia says, it's what she says. Okay, so you're saying they're fluid with both people? Again, not our thing, but it's theirs, right? And Pioneer says, by the way, Queen, when I say you, I'm not talking about you personally, but many women in general, making that clear. But the first step to solving the problem is stating exactly what you want from men. Yes, and I agree with you. A lot of times we as women, we don't say what we want up front because a lot of us, it's been so long since we've had a relationship, and I don't want to scare him off. And so I'll kind of tiptoe around it, and I won't really just say what it is. And then when we get in a relationship, and then you say it like with your chest. You need to be bringing some money in here. I'm tired of taking care of your raggedy. We should have just said that up front. So I agree with you. And T Lady 1971, he says no. And Anisha laughing. And Minister Kev, aka Extreme, how you doing? You say facts. And thank you for the donation as well. I appreciate that. And Olivia says open is open. Yes, it is. It's open. Not a relationship we would want, but it's a relationship they like. So they grown. And Frank says, it's funny when Black women talk polygamy, but don't even know how to be in a relationship with one Black man. Shaking my head. You know what? You're throwing some mighty big rocks there, but you're telling the truth. You know, how is it that we can't figure out how to be in a relationship with one man? But yeah, I don't know, y'all. And Marty says, my grandmother raised us to be assertive, never to take any crap off no man, but always have your own place to stay so you never have to worry about somebody jumping on you in your own place. Well, what about if you get married? Do you ever plan on getting married? Are you always going to have your own place? Or like, how is that going to work? But yeah, no, you shouldn't take no crap off of any man. You should, definitely put it up front with what you're expecting, what you will and will not put up with. Most definitely, I think everybody should, have some boundaries and rules before you jump into a relationship. But if you're ever going to get married, I mean, y'all might want to live together. And I says, I love nice guys. I like nice guys too. Let me tell y'all something. Ain't nothing like being with a man who's grumpy and mean. I love nice men. I like somebody who's easy to talk to, somebody who's going to listen to you and who's considerate. I like flowers every once in a while. Like I'm really a traditional woman in that I like the simple things. Flowers make me smile. It ain't got to be no big $2,000 worth of flowers. 1 or 2 is nice, right? Anyway, and Pioneer says also, if you want a man who can fight and protect you, say that too. Tell Black men, even in casual conversation, that you like to see them strong enough to protect them from thugs and racists. Tell them, yeah, I'm with you. We should be upfront. Can you handle your own if you go down, right? So I'm with you on that. I think we should be to the point to where we're able to have those open conversations with each other. And if women, you're having a conversation with a man and you say, listen, I would like for you to be able to protect me. Something go down and he like, wow, I don't know. That ain't your man. Don't be afraid to lose a man like that. You want to know if the man is going to be able to stand the test. Tell him those things. You don't want to, because a lot of times too, I'm being honest, as women, we're like, okay, I'm going to just hope that he is that when we get in the relationship. I'm going to coax him into that. And then he never, develops into that. And then it's just a mess and a waste of time, right? And Thunder says, if he works with her to keep her up, he is there for the money. And he is the worst. But if he fails, well, it's because of him and he's the worst. Now she lost all her money because of him. So basically you're saying he's damned if he do and he's damned if he don't. And Sunlight says, to be unbiased person, I am. It's funny when black men talk polygamy and can't take care of one woman. Ooh, wow. Rocks are being thrown today. I'm going to keep reading. Pioneer said, oh, honestly, is the key to solving our problems if women in general will clearly state what they want in men, no holds barred, and be consistent. Most men will strive to do that, but not mixed signals. I agree with you. Be upfront. Say it what it is. Tell it like it is. Say what it is that you're expecting. I agree. Listen, I'm learning. I'm always a student. And Marnie said, Demetra, I've seen many women personally that talk a lot of smack about black women should do this, that, and the other, and are the same ones that will let a man dog and disrespect them and take their money. Well, we can always give the advice, but we can't take it. Let's see here. I think I saw Donovan in the chat. What's really going on here? Let me catch up here really quick. I keep saying that. And he says, I want a husband to lead the environment, not me. Okay. I want both. And the Pioneer says, it's not perfect, but one of the reasons relationships are successful in the Nation of Islam is because the rules for both sexes are crystal clear. Both are trained on how to be good husbands and wives. Yes, indeed. That is a fact. And Minister Kev, he says, it will take God to be present in most relationships for them to last. I agree. You got to have some sort of a beacon, right, to guide you. We're a higher power or something, right? It's not just, well, I'm going to do what I want. You have to lean on something. Pioneer says, thank you, brother Minister Kevin. Yes, indeed. And LLPRS Most High, how you doing? He says, Black first, always struggling and striving. Our time is now. Yes, right now. And Minister Kevin says, salute. Yes, indeed. And the Pioneers, too much confusion going on in a community with people not meaning what they say and not telling folks how they really feel. Women need to be totally honest about what they want. I agree. I'm with you. Like I said, I'm learning. And he says, I want a submissive man. I think men should be submissive too. Not in a bad way. Same thing like when I was a woman, not in a bad way. Not like she's over you, all of that. But I think people should submit to one another, right? It's compromise, really, is what it is. I would think. He says, I want Boaz. Me too. And Moni says, the nature, I think, is spiritual time for the Black man and woman to heal and let God lead them. Show them the right way he would have for them to be with one another instead of allowing Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood is only in the movies. And Denise says, I think it should be in you to submit to be balanced with a man because we are not equals, but balance is healthy. Then you don't think I'm his slave. Absolutely. Sunlight says, I want a dominant man. Let's speak it. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I like a man who is strong and who can lead, right? That's just me, right? And Denise says, it doesn't define the man that doesn't talk about money. And the Pioneer says, now, of course, every woman, just like every man, is an individual and nobody wants everything the same. However, over 90% of women of all races and cultures find the same thing attractive in men. Some things, I would say, yes, I would agree with that. And he says, I want to be worshiped. Money is good as well. Yes, worship. Olivia says, I would love to chat about this with you. But anyways, we don't need to allow it at all. That was the past of our fathers and grandfathers, BS cheating with outside women. Love doesn't look like that. Well, love is very open to interpretation, right? Again, love for me and you don't look like that. I don't want to share my man. I've always said that, but somehow it's falling on deaf ears, right? I'm just one of those women that were always, for whatever reason, I've been cheated on. by just about every man that I've been with. So I was clear about that. I'm not trying to share, but clearly they didn't get the memo. Brother Samuel says, the enemy has put together his system to reward the woman and punish the man to divide us. The knowledgeable woman can birth the hidden qualities in a man. The man has to be taught to mine the true gold out of the woman's mind. Marriage is work, and we both, male and female, as are to our roles. Yes, it is work, but people don't want to work for nothing anymore. Oh, it's hard. I'm out of here. Oh, it's just I don't want to do it. Bye. Sunlight says 90% of women. Where is the data? So who said that now? And the Pioneer says, this ain't rocket science. It's nature. We will automatically get along with each other when we stop letting Caucasian media influence us and tell us what we should like. Yes, I agree with you. And Minister Kev, you say, yes, the idea that a couple can't start from scratch and build something is a lie. As a man, we love women as they are. Most Black men don't receive the same treatment. That is a very loud complaint. I have heard that a lot. Moni says, maybe because I was raised, I don't have to speak unless I want some men. I wouldn't give them the time or day, but if I could help them, I would, but I wouldn't expect anything if God sent a blessing. Okay. And Denise says, better be honest from the jump street. Yeah, we just need to learn to do that. Stop being scared of scaring away. Man, if he can be scared away, that ain't your man in the first place. And Thunder says, if a man has a home and all insurance and a 401k and a car with no debt, he is winning. But if he is doing all this and he makes less than $50,000, he is called a loser or dusty. Why is this a problem? Because we as women, I'm speaking in general, have been taught that a dollar amount defines a man. If he's not making this amount of money, then he's not a good man. But like you said, shoot, if he got all that going on, all that paid off, I mean, shoot, sound like he winning to me. I mean, a man can have a lot of money in debt. So I don't know. Pioneer says, okay, we know most women find a man who stands up for himself and shows strength attractive. We know that. Should we train our boys to be men who can do that? Yes. Yes. Boys should be trained to do that. And then he says, some, no matter how good you are, they have a wandering eye and body. So, yeah. And trust me, I'm a witness. And Frank says, are you talking to Thunder? And Moni says, Demetra, I've been known clairvoyant and astrologer for over 30 years. Let's be clear. If there is times I don't speak to a person, it's because I beat them, read their spirit before they approach me. Dangerous. Okay. Brother Samuel says, Demetra, it sounds like you are going to be a great wife. You have a very balanced view and know that marriage is work and half of faith. So we must rise above the emotional level of love into the rational thinking of God and see love on a higher level. Yes, and I thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I have some great examples. I've been through a lot of things, and it does take balance. It's not my way or the highway. I mean, it really does take balance. So, yes, one day I will make a great wife. And Donovan, what are you doing? You say 1 million men against Demetra on airplane headed to LAX. Does the pilot know you got your phone off of airplane mode? And Minister Kevin says, if you really have to ask, it's a problem. He might run. I agree. And Denise says, I'm with that. He should be able to protect you, provide what he can't, but money ain't the deal breaker. He's got to have something going on for himself. Yes. Like, what else do you have besides a fat wallet? And my comments jumped up again. There we go. And Marty says, to make sure there was a case that you reported on, I believe that might have been mid last year where the young lady went to a liquor store and because brushed off inappropriate advances, they attacked her. Yeah, they did her really bad. That's evil. And I don't even know if they ever caught those guys. You also say Monique's husband had a little money, but he didn't have much until he got with her because he controls all of her money. Let's be clear. You cannot be naive to the fact, not that I care because she pays. Well, they built something together. They have built to where he's put her in a better position to receive more money. See, people don't know how to build anymore. Y'all, and I'm speaking to them, want these ready-made relationships, and y'all don't want to build anymore. Like, well, what's that about? Well, Olivia says, serious question. Did they actually find out the real numbers of men versus women in the Black community? Because I believe it's only done with whites for years. And I'm sorry, which number is that? And Lonnie says, some women are so desperate for a man they won't never speak against one when they know they are wrong. Monique pays men to be with her, all three husbands. Let's be clear. Minister speaks against this. Well, I mean, how do you know, though? And Pioneer says, if you ask him, he will stand up and defend you from a thug or a racist. I'm not talking about cops, Sunlight. He says, and he stutters or runs away. That's a good thing. Now you know he won't. Yeah, I agree with you. Sunlight says, it was Black women gave a Black man $25 on Twitter a few days ago. See, you're not in the right circles. Laugh out loud. And let's see here. Minister Kevin says, both parties refuse to negotiate correctly when they first meet, so they find themselves in relationships trying to figure out the other person afterwards. Good point. Thunder says, that's right. In the NOI, everyone knows their role. Can imagine telling a Black woman she's out of pocket and she needs to know her role after being able to do what, when, where, why, and how she wants. Good luck. Morning says, my grandfather submitted to my grandmother and he kept most of the bills paid. She kept all of her own bills paid when it came to her kids, being that they were not by my second grandfather. Worked out. Okay. Pioneer says, now remember, I said a man needs to be both strong and smarter, not just one or the other. A man don't need a dominating fool in a woman don't need a dominating fool in her life. You might end up in jail anyway. So what good was it? Well, yeah, good point. One says, I just believe that when you have a blessing, you don't mistreat it. Grateful when someone comes that can pamper you. I don't mind a man being a go-getter. I will stand by him, but will never let him dog me. Nah, you should never let him dog you. Pioneer says, I didn't catch who said it, but a woman who is a doctor or making over $150,000 a year will not look for a man making only $50,000 a year or less. For what? He should know better anyway. Why not? There's plenty of women out there making more money than her man, and she's not judging him by what he makes. They get along just fine, because technically, if you're in a marriage, that's our money, right? A lot of times people go into a marriage, well, this is my money. I'm not saying you shouldn't have your own bank account, but you should have an our money mentality. So let's say your man or your woman don't have it and you got it. You're going to say, well, I sure feel bad for you because this is my money. No, it's your money, right? And then he says, I will make a good wife. I bet you will. And Kelly says, punctuation, please. And who are you talking to? Moni says, I will back him always if he's loyal, loves me for who I am, and I love him for who he is and pampers me. I will always treat him like a true king because I have no problem in knowing my role in his life. Well, that's good to know. Pioneer says, tell these brothers to stop running up on women 15 status levels higher than him just because she's attractive to him. And when she slaps him away, he wants to get mad. Hell, he should have known better. Well, my mom used to always say, nothing beats a fail but a try. How will you know if you don't try? Then he says, I was just about to say that folks want it already packaged when I think it's cool to work together. Yeah, work together, build together. It'll mean more if you work together, right? I would think. And Olivia says the question of if there's more men to women. Oh, that's what they say, especially in regards to Black people. From what I understand, now I don't know how true it is, it's 10 to 1. Yeah, so I guess that 90% is right. 10 women to 1 man. So it kind of sounds like, a lot of people say, well, that's why Black women have to learn to share, because Black women outnumber men, because there's a lot of Black men who are incarcerated and, various other things going on. And Sunlight says women outnumber men. Yes. And Marty says, I think when you do it God's way, Demetra, which no sex outside of marriage at this point in our lives is the best way, because God's law is going to stand when it brings in man's law, is the problem. Yeah. And, some people just aren't going to wait to get married to have sex, but I think you should definitely vet the person before you do, right? Vet that person as much as you can before you get horizontal, because especially for us women, when we, get in a sexual relationship with a man, we tend to attach our emotions, and all logic just leaves the building, and we are an emotional wreck when it doesn't turn out the way we thought it would, right? So, NIE says, I will always expect respect. Same here. And Pioneer says, but the only reason so many men are making next to nothing, thinks he can get with women making 5 times more than him, is because many women tell him money doesn't matter, and was dumb enough to believe it. Well, she should say money is not the only thing that matters. It's not the only thing that matters. At least for me, it's not. It's not the only thing that matters. You want a man to be able to do some things, yes. You want him to be able to at least help with the bills and be able to just take care of things, I don't think any woman wants to take care of a man completely. To me, and I'm just speaking to me, that is out of order and is out of balance. I just think that it is. I don't think a woman would have too much respect for a man that she's completely taken care of, and he's not bringing anything to the relationship. And Sunlight says, agreed. And Olivia says, I don't believe it. They haven't counted that in years. Well, that's what they say, so I don't know how true it is, though. Sunlight says, people don't listen to God's law. They just use it to criticize other people. Very good point. And Thunder says, I can imagine being a Black woman working and coming home to someone who, no matter what you do, is not good enough, and she is never happy. But Juan is a day laborer and his wife is grateful and happy. I mean, she knows how to appreciate Juan. Juan knows how to appreciate her. They have a mutual appreciation for each other. And his wife knows that he's out there working hard. She also knows, I'm not going to squander his money. I know my man was out there working hard as a day laborer, bringing home the bacon, and I'm going to fry it up, and I'm going to make sure we have some for tomorrow and the next day. Like, I'm going to be a good steward over the money. I'm not going to have these unrealistic expectations of Juan. I'm not going to be running around in red bottoms and he's a day laborer. I'm going to, make sure that I make the money last and help Juan build to where he is hiring day laborers. See what I'm saying? And Denise says, that's God's law or man's law, because if we go by the Bible, he said to the woman, he says, we're all of your husbands. Where are all your husbands now? More than one, because they knew her. They were her husband. And Pioneer says, sis, it's one thing to try when you have a reasonable expectation for success, but if you're homeless, should you be trying to get with a sister who's a doctor coming out of Starbucks you bag at? I mean, come on, man. Let's be for real. Now, if he's in that situation, maybe he has a lot of confidence, but what woman is really going to take home a homeless man? So that's why I said sometimes I think we got to be for real. And Marty says, to make sure, I hope your dad is okay. He sounds like a wonderful man. My mom is 73. Had my dad been alive this year, he would have been 76. Those are the true pioneers that stand up and don't fall for any BS. Yes, yeah, my father's, he's okay. He recovered from that, thank God. And somebody says, laugh out loud, Juan is the same person sleeping with everyone at the shipyard with a whole wife and kids back home. Oh, Lord. And Denise says, was there a marriage ceremony in the Bible, or did we get that from the slave days because of their need to control the slave choice? I don't recall a marriage ceremony in the Bible. From what I understand, that is man's laws because of, legal purposes and all of that. But Frank says, Demetra, remember certain Black women think Black men who work are boring. Well, what is he supposed to do? Whether he owns his own business or he goes to a job, what's he supposed to do? Unless he trades the stock market, I wouldn't mind that. He's working, he's bringing home some money. I mean, I would think, right? Brother Salmon says men and women should complement each other, complementary angles total 90 degrees, so they are right for each other. Yes, it should be, like you said, complement each other. It should be a balance. It should be the yin and the yang. Where I fall short, you come up, and all of that. It's like a puzzle, right? And Minister Kevin says, if you have superstar money, I mean, providing extra, then I can see somebody dominating. But in regular relations, both parties should need their significant other to be able to focus. Yes, indeed. And the pioneer says, absolutely, she respects Juan while he's out working. She's at home taking care of the children and getting his food ready. And let's keep it real. She knows Juan will kill her too if she don't. Well, damn. I don't know if that's a good thing. But she should definitely know that Juan will not be happy. But killing her, that's a different story. And Frank says, and if he ain't a drug dealer or a rapper, he's boring. Shaking my head. Now, listen, I never was turned on by that kind of stuff. I like a good, honest, hardworking man that's going to treat me right and treat only me right. Like I'm the only one he's looking at, right? I'm simple. I'm simple when it comes to relationships. I don't need all the bells and the whistles and all of that. I just want to feel good about the relationship I'm in. I don't want to have to worry and, all of that. I just want to feel good. I think that's really what most people want, right? And Olivia says, I thought we were all being for real, so now I'm confused. I'll catch the next show. Good night, family. No, don't leave. And Thunder says, if you can't find what you need at home, just remember there's a lot of Latinas with natural afros and black skin. I'm just saying. You know what? I think that's really, in fact, I know that's a false narrative that for some reason, because y'all talk bad about black women who say, girl, go on and get you a Brad. Go on and get you a Jeremy. Y'all talk bad about black women when black women say, go on and get you a white man or Hispanic man or whatever. But when y'all say those type of things, I mean, it's really a double standard because, and I'm going to tell you this, I know men who've talked to Latinas that look black and Asians that talk black, and they'll tell you the same thing. Y'all all the same. All y'all get on our nerves. And so y'all falling prey to the nonsense too. Will get you a Latin woman. She know her role and all of that. And I'm going to say this, and y'all might not like it. It may not always be the woman. It could be you too. And Sunlight says, no one can control anyone's preference. So if working men are boring to her, then avoid those women that are not for you. Yeah, don't be with somebody who's not for you. And Kelly says the gender data is true in every creature, in every nature. The female outnumbers the male because of how reproduction works. Many males aren't needed to continue any species. Yeah, a man could get 200 women pregnant all in the same time frame, right? But a woman can only be pregnant within a 9-month time frame. So, I guess. And Monty says, I'm glad you're back, and I don't know what happened, Demetra. Thank you for always keeping me real and fun. Please do a show, and I would love to be your guest for astrology. I love to tell forecasts for 2022. You know what? That sounds fun. I don't see why. Let's do that toward the beginning of or the end of the year. I'm afraid, kind of, because I don't want to be knowing the future like that. And he says, we got that wedding ceremony from Europe. Queen Antoinette and Victoria walked down the aisle and was a virgin. Their parties afterwards. Okay, and LaMarcus says, I need me a black woman to settle down with. Any ladies available? You putting it out there. I like that. And Minister Kevin says, how about that? And Denise says, I feel you. I'm simple too, easy to please. I want to be with my best friend. Same here. I think most people want that. You want somebody you can grow old with, you can laugh and watch your favorite television shows and go catch a movie, go on a nice walk and all of that. It ain't got to be going out every day and just the simple stuff. Like I love the simple stuff. That's just me. And Pioneer says, I'm personally an egalitarian. I personally like an egalitarian society where both men and women have equal rights to be who and what they want to be. If a woman wants to submit to a man, she can, and if not, she doesn't have to. Yeah. I think somebody's going to have to submit to something. Again, that's not to be negative. And Don says there was a week-long party for the marriage, according to what we received from them, stating to be true. I believe in the join and build together concept. It's difficult when the dominant society, and it comment cut off. But yeah, I believe in that concept as well. Let's build something together. Then he says, see there, holla at him, no offense. And let's see here. Somebody says, Demetra Kaye, exactly. They get highly upset, can't dish it, but condition, but can't take it. And Moni says, remember, Black women are always satisfied. Other cultures, you did a story a few months ago where this woman didn't speak to a man and he bit her all in her face and nose and eye and damaged it bad. Yeah, that was in New York, I think, Harlem, if I'm not mistaken, I think. And because she just wanted to go home and they jumped on her pretty bad and tried to bite her eye out. Thunder says, she will be grateful like Juan's wife and she is Black. It's a win-win. Well, I mean, if that floats your boat, I can't tell you what to do, but I think it's a false narrative that, a certain type of woman is not going to give you a hard time. I mean, trust me, that's not true. Pioneer says, well, this goes back to our sisters being totally honest. Just like a lot of Black men really want something other than a Black woman, a lot of our sisters really want anything other than a Black man. I wouldn't say a lot. Some sisters, not a lot. All the women that I know want a Black man. Want a Black man. I'm going to tell you, like I said, I've been cheating on by almost every man I've been with. And you know how many times people have told me, get you a white man? And the white man ain't going to do that to you. Get you another man. And you know what? 2 white men like me. Now, I don't like them because, for one, I wasn't raised that way and it would kill my daddy and my daddy would kill me. And I'm not attracted to white men. I like brothers, right? But I've been told that, white man ain't going to cheat on you. White man going to treat you right. And I'm like, but I know white women who will beg to differ. I know Mexican women who will beg to differ. So I'm just saying. And then he says, I can't wait till tomorrow to find out about tomorrow. Laugh aloud. And Pioneer says, a lot of our women are not satisfied with Black men and only tolerate them because they have low self-esteem and don't figure out other races of men will treat them right or really want them. But not a lot. There's some. Like I said, all the Black women I know want them a brother. And they want a brother to treat them right. Then he says, you see me, Frank. And he says, Irvi or Hebrew traditional wedding is a party first. The husband and wife slip away to have sex, and the father of the bride keeps the sheets as a blood contract. Okay. Pioneer says, but a lot of women who, even my daughter was like, ew. Pioneer says, but a lot of Black women who find what are white or Arab men who find them attractive runs them and submits themselves totally to them. They already wanted to do it anyway. That's some. That's some, not all. I hear that, Black women, or they submit to the white man. Is like, that ain't necessarily true either. And T-Lady 1971 says, yes. And Pioneer says, the fact is, as a people, most of us don't like each other, male or female. And that's at least the heart of the problem. And Mary, how you doing? He says, shalom, Demetra. He says, I wouldn't be caught dead dating outside my race and having children that don't even look like me, washing away my Black and Native American genes. Yeah. Like I said, there's a Black woman right there saying that she wants to date brothers. So I know all the Black women I know, they want to date a Black man. And Brother Samuel says, submit to truth, which is God. Yes, indeed. And the Pioneer says, no, Queen, I'm talking about as a society. Personally, I like feminine, submissive women, but all women aren't like that. I want all men and women to be allowed to be who they are. Okay, got it. And Frank, you say, no, he asked to buy her a drink, and she said, no, thank you. I personally think they all should have been shot. You said it, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, she's allowed to tell them no. I don't know you, no, thank you, whatever. And Mary, you say exactly. And Moni says, I see nowadays when a woman is strong, independent, takes good care of herself, many men who don't want nothing out of life will find that a bit intimidating. But if she shouldn't have to be, even why it is. Yep. That's been my case. I've had men intimidated by me. I am what they call a go-getter. I like to strive to do better, right? I like to evolve. And a lot of men that I've dealt with, they couldn't rise to the challenge. Not that I was challenging them, but I'm like, hey, baby, let's go do this. How about this? Let's do that. And it was outside of their comfort zone, and they would rather just end the relationship, which eventually is fine with me. But so I resonate with that comment. And Don, you say, keeps employment opportunities and enterprise opportunities, student loan liabilities, but with two, the scripture speaks to two, which is always better than one. One can put 1,000 to flight, but two. Yes, indeed. It's better to be paired up so you can go farther. But nowadays, people don't think so. And Pioneer says, deep down, a lot of Black women have a subconscious desire for a white man to save them. They are trained to look for it when they were raised on the white Jesus of the church. It's subconscious. I mean, I don't even know if a lot. I know that I don't. I've never been attracted to a white man. I might say a white man is cute, like Johnny Depp is cute, or Matthew McConaughey, he's fine. But I never envisioned him being my man, though. Just never. And Mary said, yeah, right. And Moni says, I had a twin aunt to Demetra that used to date slum type Black men in the 60s and 70s. Met her younger white guy. They're still together, shacking, of course. She taught my cousin to be insecure with Zaddy. Okay. So what I mean is she made it that Black men are sad because she picked poor choices and had a bad marriage that my cousin got with his daddy was a cosmetologist, made over $2 million, have nothing today. Oh, LaMarcus says, I'm still waiting on those Karen videos. Well, Brother Phil does Karen videos all the time. And Antoine says, men have to and supposed to submit more than a woman. Okay. And a Pioneer says, sis, I repeatedly said some and many, not all, but we can't dismiss these facts by attaching all to it. It's a way to dismiss altogether. I got you. And Thunder says, it's not that we don't want Black women. It's just that we don't want to deal with the unnecessary extra BS. I got you. Brother Sammy says, I feel white men by nature are culturally cheat. They culturally cheat. Where did you think wife swap came from? They may not get caught as much when they want to hide it. We get caught because our nature is righteous, and we get caught more because it's our nature to be righteous. So we are like a fish out of water, easily caught, right? Because that's not, natural to you is what you're saying. And Pioneer says, I can't prove what I'm saying. Go to any public place like a mall or a plane strip or a store. Any white man can walk up to the average Black woman and start a casual conversation with her. Am I wrong? Not any. Not any. So I'm not ready to concede that. I'm one that have a conversation with anybody. I don't be like, oh, that's a white man. He can't talk to me. Oh, that's a brother. I talk to anybody who's nice. And my daughter tell you, she always be like, you end up getting conversations with people and we be talking about all kind of stuff. And I've never even met them a day in my life because I'm really just that friendly. Sunlight says everyone has some BS attached to them, no matter the rest. If the pros outweigh the con, can be happy and keep it moving. 80-20 rule. Yes, he says no matter the race. Okay. And Marty says at the end of the day, where you go? At the end of the day, you have to let God lead you on the best partner for you. I believe total Black love, and I'm not going to go against the Black man if I found a melanated man that's good. Okay. And Mary says, my Jesus isn't white. He's Black, wool hair, bronze skin. Yes, indeed. Then he says, are they notoriously underprotected? Are they targeted like Black women are? We are treated like men and we're not. People don't even believe we feel pain. We do not compare to the others. I agree with you. And T Lady says, I love that Black and brown just turns me on. I'll be calling on the Lord. Mary says his name isn't even Jesus, it's Yeshua. Yes, indeed. Because they say J wasn't even created. The letter J wasn't even a thing then. So absolutely. And Marnie says, I will think on it if it's a man that's melanated, as I would never disgrace my comment cut off. And Pioneer says a lot of Black women have deep down psychological trust and desire for white men to rescue them again. I'm not saying all, but many do. Okay. And Thunder says, and what are they always pushing this strong, independent black woman? I never hear strong, independent white women or strong, independent Latino. These women know they need a man. Independent means alone. Agreed. And Lamarcus says, are you talking to Mary? And Monty says, if I see a man that was melanated from Egypt, Honduras, I would think about it, but I would never disrespect my black man with an oppressor and then defend it because I'm not a raccoon ever. Got it. And Sunlight, you say, go to any public place. Go to any public place. A 300-pound Becky will have a brother on her arm. Am I wrong? Y'all trying to get me in the mud. Pioneer says, my point is that among both black men and black women, there are too many who would rather have anyone else but a black person. Got it. And Mona says, this is their season from hydrating your skin, Demetra. Yours is looking very wonderful, like you have had a lot of lymphatic and goggly assets, which is beautiful and glowing on you. Keep up the great work. Well, I thank you for that. And Minister Cavi says, some men don't want to take the independent black woman class. I took it years ago. If you're not willing to put in the work, you won't get the results either way. Good point. And Frank, you're talking to Sunlight. And Mary says, but those other women, those dogs will bring other BS to you. At least we do not put you in jail like the other women, serving years if they cry foul. And Sunlight says, white women invented the feminist movement. What the hell? That is true. Pioneer says, okay, Queen, you said you'll talk to any person you are friendly. Most white or Asian women aren't going to do that. They're going to look at the man first before entering a conversation with him. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a friendly person. I like to have, I'm a conversationalist. I like to have conversations with people. So, it don't bother me. And Denise says, I believe blacks are naturally polygamous. It's why we struggle with fidelity in this race. But as it stands, I don't want to be cheated on. Same here. Pioneer says, like Frank said about a lot of black women not speaking when a black man says hi, a lot of these women will speak to a white man who says something to her. We've seen this growing up. Okay, and Lamarcus says, I just found out a black lady invented the CCTV and security cameras. Okay, well, go ahead, sister. And Denise says, the man naturally polygamous, but he could support them all. And that's the key, support, right? When he says, come on, I tell you this, well into 2026, let's do this damn thing. Demetra, you're my girl always. Remember to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Halloween is coming. Are you doing a thing? No. And Thunder says, the way to make it sound as if black women is a wild mare, and I have to go in there and break her like a cowboy does. Is this really necessary? No. And Mary says, 300-pound Becky, facts. Y'all wild. And the Pioneer says, when I say a lot of our sisters have a deep down trust and attraction to white men, I'm not necessarily talking sexually. I'm talking about a desire for a savior or a husband to protect and maintain them. Okay, got it. And Marty says, I'm really impressed at how you're holding it down, even though Donovan is gone. I'm just moisturizing and grape seeds, keeping our skin from getting dry. It's getting colder out now. Okay, well, I was doing this before Donovan came along. I would do it by myself. But yeah, he'll be back. Frank says, and then Marty says, but what I would like to know is your view on the different holidays, if you get into them, and which ones might be your favorite. Next month will be Sweeties Day out here in Michigan, like Valentine's Day, like the sweetest day. Oh, got it. I don't really get into holidays like that at all. I just don't. And Mary says, we do not celebrate these holidays. And Brother Samuel says, my late father used to say there has only been two slaves, a black man and a white woman. He said the black woman has always been free. However, while she has had access to the white man, she had, for the most part, stuck with us. Yes. And T-Lady says, that's right. Love my brothers. And Pioneer says, we're not going to solve the problems either. One, denying what's happening. Two, assuming it doesn't apply to us personally. It doesn't happen at all. We must look at the entire society. I agree with you. And Denise says, Adele, y'all described her. Uh-oh. And Denise says, my bad. And Mary says, nope, I do not have a deep down nothing for a white man. Me either. And Pioneer says, I see you trying to wrap up, and I'm trying to type more comments to keep it going. Yes, Adele lost weight. She is with a brother now, LeBron's manager or something. And Lamarcus says, my family has damn near cooked the Thanksgiving meal every other Sunday, but F holidays, right? We do that anyway, right? And so anyway, guess what? That is the end of the comment section. I thank y'all for being here. 2 hours and 4 minutes. See, it went by really fast. I appreciate y'all for being here. YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. We could not and would not do this without you. I'd like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton for all that you do behind the scenes on Facebook to keep the show going further. Now, listen, I am moving this week, so I don't know if I'll be here Thursday or Friday, but I will try my best to be here on Sunday if my cable is up and running, but I am moving to a new spot. So I'll keep you guys informed either way. But I do appreciate you guys. And again, we have a Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. If you would like to donate, you can become a member of the channel or join the super chat. And those of you guys who have donated and donate often, I appreciate and I love you all. And I will see you guys sometime next week. But I definitely will keep you guys informed. You guys have a great Sunday. Peace.